Hey guys, welcome back. Team's just been announced, these evening announcements. We've got the Springbok team to face Romania, and I looked at it and something jumped out to me. I had to start chuckling. I thought, geez, the Boks have been brilliant in terms of being bold and innovative. I don't think there's any team that's close to them at the moment. And fair enough, they're playing Romania, so no disrespect to Romania, but no, they're not expected to trouble the Springboks in any way. So what jumped out at me, I'm sure you've all seen it now, the Springboks have gone and named all 4 scrumhalves in their match day 23. Is this madness? Is this strange? Is this, I don't know, but I think I quite kind of like it. It's bold, it's innovative. I think it's one of those things that's going to have the rest of the rugby world talking, and we're already sitting with a situation where the rest of the rugby world's still losing their minds about the 7-1 bench, and then about the traffic lights that Russies use, the disco lights as we call them. And I think it's quite funny, to be very honest. They're living rent-free in the other opposition's heads. I even saw a thing today where some of the Scottish journalists went to ask World Rugby, would it be allowed? Would they have to get permission to use those disco lights? And come on, I mean, imagine as the quote I used the other day in the video from Tom from Three Red Kings. Imagine if they find out walkie-talkies. So I mean, there's so much going on at the World Cup, and the Boks are staying centre of attention. Everybody's talking about all these sort of side issues, these side shows, rather than talking about the game plan and the things that they're doing. I'm sure opposition coaches are very, very concerned about that and very, very sort of focused on that. But for the rest of the rugby public, they're talking about things that are around about the game and not in it. And I think this team selection is going to be exactly one of those as well. First of all, for those who watched my other video about the alternative strip, the Boks should be playing in their green and gold this weekend against Romania. How that factors in, Romania play in yellow and blue, I think it is, and I mean how that sort of factors in, who knows? To me, the whole situation is rather ridiculous. But okay, let's get back to the team selection now. And this was always going to be a team where you'd give a bunch of the fringe players a run. You'd want a bunch of the squad guys to keep them happy, to keep them, keep the momentum going, and keep the guys fresh and that, and rest some of your other players. And this is exactly what the Springboks have done. But by selecting 4 scrumhalves in the match day 23, they've really gone and upped the ante again, and they've really made it a huge talking point again for the rest of the world. Right? I know when the team was announced, the squad for the World Cup, there was a lot of people carrying on. There was all these conspiracy theories about the Kanyu and Andre Pollard not being in the team. And I think those have sort of settled down now. People quite understand that the Boks were being quite straight when they said they weren't being selected as such, and this wasn't this ploy that one of the 4 scrumhalves would fall out and take an injury and suddenly be out the World Cup. And I mean, we're way past that now. And the fact that they've selected all 4 in the 23 shows you that they've been thinking about this for a long time. They've had this in their minds. They've had these plans, and they've been wanting to try some of these plans. And to be honest, Romania is the perfect game to do that. Romania obviously got beaten by 80 points by Ireland, and while points difference is important, the bigger thing for the Boks is to win that game against Ireland to top the pool. That's a huge thing for them. And I mean, so they're not expecting too much opposition from Romania. I don't mean to be disrespectful again to Romania, but if they do come within 50 points of the Springboks after that performance the other day, I think we'd all be surprised. And I think the onus is on the Boks to keep on the momentum and put the hammer down and get some good points and get some good confidence and have a great game against them. Hopefully not pick up some injuries. And this selection tells me that the Boks are looking to try a few things out, have a bit of fun, and it's a hell of an exciting backline. If you look at the 4 scrumhalves, obviously the Jaden Hendricks is getting a start. His tactical kicking is exceptional. Him and Damian Willems to tee up again for the first time since they played Ireland last year, and really good combination, those two. It's going to be very interesting to see what they can do. With some good front foot ball, and I expect Damien to use his sidestep quite a bit. But it's lucky to see him back at fly-off. And then Grant Williams on the wing, well, that was never going to be a surprise. The Boks have always said that they can use him as wing, and they have it in the past, used him off the bench as a wing. But to start as a wing, they're obviously quite confident in his abilities. And I just think, his cameo against Scotland, where he almost scored. We had that 60-meter run where where Finn Russell ankle tapped him right at the end there. That certainly gave them the confidence that he's got so much speed out the blocks that you've got to put him in space and you've got to give him a run. So it's great to see Grant Williams on the wing. I don't think that weakens the side in any way, although the Boks have got some amazing wingers. But yeah, it's a great selection, I think. And then you get the two guys on the bench. You have Cobus who certainly would walk into most international teams with his speed and his experience, and he's as the reserve scrum half. And then you have Faf de Klerk, who is the reserve fly. So they're giving Mani Libbok a total rest, which is not a bad thing given all the talk around him and his goal kicking. They're giving Faf de Klerk a run at 10, where he'll come in the second half, and he'll get that's always been their sort of backup plan if there is an emergency. And this is a good game to give a guy a run at 10, and it's going to be something strange. I know a lot of people aren't going to be used to it, but it's to see those two guys, two scrum halves together. There's a lot of speed, and Faf is such a nuggety guy. He's got so much passion in him. I'm sure he's going to do well, and his kicking game will be good. It'll give him a good run without the pressure. Hopefully by that time the scoreline's ballooned. Hopefully by that time they're pretty comfortable away from, and they can really play him and try a few things out. And I think that's the big thing, because this game's going to come down to a bit of experimentation as well, to see in the event of a situation where they have an injury or two or something goes wrong, what can they do. And once you've got a guy who's confident playing in it, he's worked in the team systems, and they've been planning this for a while, I can tell you now. So that to me is a great move. So all four scrum halves will be involved. It's going to be amazing to watch, to see how that dynamic goes. I'm very fascinated. It gives a new sort of, I suppose, what's the word I'm looking for? It gives a new angle to the game, which normally would have been a very one-sided, and we'd just see who'd scored the tries. But it gives some more narrative to the game that we need, and I think these games do need something like that. And why not try something different? And why not keep the world talking? Because the world will be talking about using 4 scrum halves in match day 23. The Boks have never been afraid of innovation. They're a team that enjoys sort of surprising people, and this certainly came about as a surprise. There was some talk yesterday about Marco van Staden training at hooker, and I think that wasn't the case. He's been selected at 6, which is his preferred position anyway. But what happens is if you have a number of front row injuries and you don't have a replacement, usually one of the props is what they call a swinger, or the hooker becomes a swinger prop, and then they sort of factor that in case. Because if you lose one of those and you have to go to uncontested scrums, you have to go down to 14. So that's the way the Boks look at it. So if you've got a guy who can play there, why not? So the scrum halves are the first thing. Marco van Staden, I think that was just a little bit of a story to come out. I don't think that's ever going to actually happen. I don't think we're going to see him play hooker at all. They've got Deon Fourie there anyway, who's on the bench as reserve hooker. That should be quite interesting. He hasn't played, I think, since 2018. He hasn't played hooker for the Boks, for the Stormers. He's been playing flank. But he is the type of guy who's versatile. He's been training in the position, and I don't think we're going to see too much of an issue there as well when he plays there. So that's the other bit of experimentation. The 36-year-old Deon Fourie, who's going to sort of make his World Cup debut at reserve hooker, which is quite interesting as well. So those are the 2 big talking points. But let's get into a couple more on this team. There's definitely a few. And for a game that the Boks are expected to win quite easily, there's quite a bit to talk about. Oh, let's start at the back, because we're talking about the back line the whole time anyway with the scrum halves. Makazole Mapimpi gets another chance to impress. I think he's fallen a bit back in the pecking order. He needs to have a good game, and probably the Boks will want him to get some confidence back. Not that there's anything wrong with his confidence. I just think the other guys have probably surpassed him. But he'll want to put in a good performance to show them he's still there and thereabouts. Caden Moody is back in the midfield, so him and Andre Esthuizen team up like they did against the All Blacks. I think we've all been wanting to see that happen. He had a wonderful sort of game at 13 for the Boks against the All Blacks, and he's the type of player you want to see involved at all times. So with him then with Vidilariu at the back, that makes it a hell of a potent backline if they get going. Lots of speed, lots of power in Andre Estes, and if they can put those guys away, there's the Boks can run riot. Speaking of running riot, the song comes into my head. I think it was Kaiser Chiefs, the song I Predict a Riot. That's playing in the back of my head, but that's just neither here nor there. You look at the pack, that pack's definitely not going to get shunted around. There's definitely some quality over there. Dion, where you look at Bongi will captain the side, and Bongi captained them pretty well against Argentina. Vincent Koch is no slouch, should walk into most international sides as well. And Oxen Chair, so that's a hell of a front row. John Klein and Marvin Ori played most of the international season. Them together is a good, well, there's nothing wrong with that combo either. That type 5 can dominate quite easily, and will look to dominate quite easily against Romania as well. And then the twin threats of Quagga Smith and Marco van Staden and the loose trio with Dwayne Vermeulen. That's quite a different loose trio. Both of them lots of speed. Again, lots of focus on the breakdown. Dwayne's exceptional at the breakdown. Marco's exceptional at the breakdown. Quagga has got that linking ability and he's good at the breakdown. So there's going to be a lot of focus on winning opposition ball, slowing the opposition ball down, and trying to get that link up that the Boks can get the ball out quite quickly. I can see those guys actually having a field day if Romania can't keep up with the pace, and I think that's the plan. You look at the bench now. Also, the bench is pretty decent as well. As I say, Dion Free, you've got Stephen Kitsoff, and you've got Trevor Naikani. Those, other than Dion not being at test level at a hooker, but the other two would walk into most sides as well and would easily start for Springboks as well. So there's nothing wrong there. And then the Boks going for a traditional 5-3 bench, which was rather surprising. We don't normally see that, but mainly because they want to give the 4 scrum-halves a shot. So when you go look at the rest of the bench, you've got Archie Snyman as well, who's probably the super sub in world rugby at the moment. The guy's got so much athleticism, and it's so great to see him back in rugby again and really enjoying his rugby. So you've got him as well. And just when you think that the Boks can't get any more physical, Jasper Visser comes on, and he'll be chomping at the bit to run a bit at the Romanians as well. So that's not bad for 5-3. I know we're so used to the bomb squad 6-2, but going for a bit more traditional, a bit more variety, and all those players can make a huge impact as well. And then you obviously have Cobus Reinach, Faf de Klerk, and then Jesse Kriel, who can cover fullback, wing, and centre. So Jesse is no slouch either, as we've seen. Exceptional player as well, and in really good form. So it's a very good Springbok team. It's a team that can do some damage. It's a team that's going to keep the world talking. It's a team that's going to cause a few heart palpitations amongst fans or what the Springboks doing now, but they're certainly living rent-free in everybody's heads. And you know what? If they're living rent-free in everyone's heads, that's good, because then people are obviously talking about them and means they're seen as a threat. So you might not agree with me, and that's your right, but I think this is an exceptional team. I think it's a team that's bold. It's a team that's experimental. It's a team that really shows a bit of out-the-box thinking. And it's a team that not many sides would try in World Rugby. Not many sides would play 4 scrum halves in a match day 23. So, kudos to the Boks. I think they've done exceptionally well. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these guys can bring. It might not be all smooth in that, because a lot of these guys are maybe playing a bit out of position, and there is a bit of a risk in that. But against a team like Romania, I think the Boks probably look to put up a big score against them, and I can't wait to see if this team can get running and get the ball wide and get through those channels and just get quick ball and what they can do there. So I'm very looking forward to that, and I'm sure you would be as well. But that's my take on the team. I hope you enjoyed it. If you agree, didn't agree, tell me what you think the Boks should have done, and what do you think of the changes? What do you think of the 4 scrum halves? If you haven't subscribed already, please do, and please keep a lookout for my podcast with Liam Delcom from the Sunday Times called To The Last Drop. It's here on YouTube, but it's also on all the major podcast platforms. Please go have a look for that. We do a lot of fun stuff there as well, and Liam's in Marseille at the moment on his way to Bordeaux, so he's going to bring us up to date with the World Cup as well. So keep an eye out for that as well. But thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, smash that button now, and chat to you again. Cheers.